Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I want to thank you guys for joining me once again. So, we're going to take a look inside the Freemasons and also look inside a temple. And the question is, what really goes on inside the Freemasons temple? What type of rituals do they really do? What are they really trying to achieve, if anything? And who do they serve, if anything or anyone? Interesting history. Some people think they come basically from the leftovers of the Knights Templars. And the Knights Templars were pretty much eradicated by King Philip of France, going way back to the burning of Jacques de Molay. And is there any truth to these rumors that we hear all the time about what happens inside their rituals? There's been many famous Freemasons. The list will boggle your mind. And it gets us wondering, is it really true that secret societies rule this world? When we look at some of the famous Freemasons, we are seeing a lot of them in tremendous positions of power. In fact, many of the founding fathers were Freemasons, and you see George Washington right there in the middle. We see FDR, we see Teddy Roosevelt, we see Andrew Jackson, McKinley. There's so many of them. Gerald Ford, and we've seen Gerald Ford over at the Bohemian Grove as well. And so a lot of these groups do intertwine. And so perhaps is there some good and some bad? Are some lodges benevolent and other ones basically trying to take over or maintain control of the world? And again, when we look at some of these people, Benjamin Franklin, these are huge, legendary people that are all Freemasons. And it's not just the political world as well. It's also in the entertainment and in literature. In fact, their influence is all over every aspect of society. So there again, are they benevolent? Are they malevolent? Anybody that knows anything about the elements and the pentagram, for instance, would recognize this one pointing downwards as being basically symbolic of matter over spirit. So that would get many of us curious. We see their rituals. There have been people that sneak into and film some of their rituals. And what happens also when one becomes a 33rd degree Mason? Interesting, the numerology involved as well. There's 33 vertebrae in the human spine, and Christ died at 33, and 33rd degree Mason is where you go into the inner circle. So what type of rituals do they really do? We do have a pretty good idea of some of the rituals, and some involve being basically blindfolded with a blade at your chest, going to run through your heart if you give up the secrets. Better to jump on this blade than to reveal the inner secrets, the inner workings of the inner sanctum and its members. And there have been many photographs that have come out and pictures and depictions of what exactly goes on inside these places. As we see this here, illustration, initiation into the 33rd degree. And then, of course, there's many branches as well. And this big drama that plays out, just almost like a Shakespearean drama. The same rituals reenacted all over the globe in different lodges. And even our celebrity entertainers mimic some of the rituals, as we see right here with Pink mimicking a ritual in a Masonic lodge. And as we had said, there have been people that have infiltrated, as we see the inside of a lodge here, and taking photos of some of the things that go on. And perhaps it's not all what we're led to believe all the time. And then again, every person, as well as every group, may be different from the other. So just like with any organization, perhaps you have some that are more benevolent than malevolent. And the little secret signs that they give each other, as we see some recognizable people. Charles Darwin gave us Darwinism, and he was a 33rd degree Mason. I've brought up before the founder of the Jehovah's Witnesses, Charles Taze Russell, 33rd degree Mason, as well as the founder of Mormonism, Joseph Smith. So if they are, in fact, if there are these secret societies controlling the world, giving us what they want us to believe, giving us our very philosophies, our sciences, and our religions, are they giving us truths, or are they leading us astray? Well, obviously they are saying, shh, don't wake up the sheeple. So you see the structure of Freemasonry here. American Freemasonry resembles two sets of stairs that begin and end together. As this chart of Masonic structure shows, a Mason's first step is to become an entered apprentice. He climbs to the third step where most Masons stay. If he wants to go on in the Mason hierarchy, he enters either the Scottish or the York rites. Many authorities say the Scottish rite was begun by Scots emigres in France. The York rite is named after York, England, where, by legend, the first Masonic body was organized. In the Scottish rite, a Mason climbs 30 steps, or degrees. The name he takes on at each degree is written on top of each step in the chart. Where there are two names at the top is used by Northern Masons, the italicized one by Southern Masons. Some figures a Mason meets in rite ceremonies stand on the steps. So from bottom we have King Solomon, King Cyrus, Akoil, and George Washington, Sultan. Each degree teaches a moral. To earn degree, candidates learn a moral and participate in a ceremony dramatizing it. A 32nd is the highest degree a Mason can earn. The 33rd degree is awarded by the Supreme Council, the ruling body of the rite. A Mason in York rite advances 10 degrees, known by name and not by degree number. On chart or figures, he meets at each degree again. And so, it's interesting that we see all this. And yeah, it's in some circles, it's supposed to trace all the way back to Solomon and Solomon's temple. And that is supposed to be the originating point as we see this. So this is an organization, as we've said, that's very old, very extensive, and also, has an interesting history. So famous Freemason list. Some of these people might surprise you. Richard Pryor, Freemason as well. George Washington, as we said. Clark Gable. As we said, it's in every facet, every aspect of our society. Don Rickles, Benjamin Franklin, Jesse Jackson, FDR, Oscar Wilde, Andrew Jackson, John Wayne, Teddy Roosevelt, Harry Houdini, Ernest Borgnine, Mel Blanc. Yes, did you know Bugs Bunny is a Mason? I had to get that out there, guys. Charles Lindbergh, Voltaire, and again, melding the way we think as well. Gerald Ford, Count Basie, even in music. William McKinley, Thurgood Marshall, William Howard Taft, Yes, Mozart, Amadeus, James Monroe, Mark Twain, Glenn Ford, Will Rogers, Cecil B. DeMille, Gene Autry, Nat King Cole, Duke Ellington, George Wallace, Douglas MacArthur, Sugar Ray Robinson, Michael Richards, John Philip Sousa, Rudyard Kipling, yep, Bud Abbott, Say It Ain't So, Peter Sellers, Francis Scott Key. Think about all this. Take all that in. Bob Feller, Benedict Arnold even, John Hancock, Billy Wilder, Oliver Hardy, Henry Clay, Arnold Palmer, Irving Berlin, W.C. Fields, and even Davy Crockett, Jack Dempsey, Red Skeleton, Thomas Paine, J. Edgar Hoover, Ty Cobb, and Paul Revere as well, Roy Rogers, Patrick Henry, Willie Mays, David Patterson, Tim Horton, George Ryan, Arthur Conan Doyle, Harry Truman, Douglas Fairbanks, Harpo Marx, Sam Adams, Elbridge Gerry, Cy Young, Honus Wagner, Tex Ritter. You could see this list goes on and on and on. So if they are truly a group that does have significant influence, which looking at these names, how could you deny they have significant influence in our world? Again, what is really the agenda? So let's look inside and just see inside one of their temples. And actually beautiful artwork. This one is in Philadelphia. Thank you, our brother Jason, for visiting there and then taking these photos. Absolutely beautiful. As we had said, the symbology goes back to the Temple of Solomon, King Solomon's temple. And, it's totally Judeo-Christian. And, what does that stir in your mind, if anything? As we see some big, looks like life-size portraits there inside. Beautiful artwork, without a doubt. That feels very reminiscent. We have the breastplate that they used to wear. And so is this King Solomon, I would guess, or is this Aaron, perhaps? But definitely the breastplate, which had stones in it, which had significance as well. Just all the symbology that we see all over everything, everywhere. It's very interesting to see. Looks almost like a Greek goddess up there. As we see all the artwork all over. And then does it even go back farther? Does it even go back farther than King Solomon's time? Perhaps to ancient Egypt, perhaps onto Atlantis even. As we see some beautiful symbols. Here you have the six-pointed star. As we've gotten used to thinking of it in terms of Star of David. As we show, it actually is also a Hindu symbol as well. And for those that know anything about occultism, the pentagram is all about control of the elements, and also it's a reference with the microcosm and the macrocosm. And then the six-pointed star can be used to control planetary forces, the energies that we would basically associate with astrology. And hoc signo vinces. That sounds very much like what Constantine saw and the message he got. And here we see all the Egyptian influences. So very interesting, is it not, my friends? What is your take on all this? And so there is such a intertwined path between the guild and so many other orders as well. And of course, there are many different lodges. So who are the Masons and what do they do? Masons, also known as Freemasons, belong to the oldest and largest fraternal organization in the world. Today, there are more than 2 million Freemasons in North America. 2 million. Masons represent virtually every occupation and profession, yet within the fraternity, all meet as equals. Masons come from diverse political ideologies, yet we meet as friends. Masons come from varied religious beliefs and creeds, yet we all believe in one God. Many of North America's earliest patriots were Freemasons, 13 signers of the Constitution, and 14 presidents, including Washington, were Masons. In Canada, the father of the Confederation, Sir John A. Macdonald, was a Mason, as were other early Canadian and American leaders. One of the most fascinating aspects of Freemasonry is how so many men from so many different walks of life can meet together in peace, always conducting their affairs in harmony and friendship, and calling each other brother. So Freemasonry is dedicated to the brotherhood of man under the fatherhood of God. Very Judeo-Christian there. And obviously, it's something that has significant power in the world. So where did Freemasonry begin? Nobody knows just how old it is because its actual origin's been lost in time. Most scholars believe Masonry arose from the guilds of stonemasons who built majestic castles and cathedrals of the Middle Ages. In 1717, Masonry created a formal organization where 4 lodges in London joined, forming England's first Grand Lodge. By 1731, when Benjamin Franklin joined the fraternity, there was already several lodges in the colonies. And in Canada, the first lodge was established in 1738. Today, Masonic lodges are found in almost every community throughout North America, and in large cities there are usually several lodges. A Mason can travel to almost any country in the world and find a Masonic lodge where he'll be welcomed as a brother. So, interesting to say the least, and this gives you a deeper look inside that temple we were just looking at. So what do you guys think is going on? I will share that Jason said the vibe was actually good and felt very positive there. He didn't sense anything negative. And again, there is the line of thinking as well that at the lower levels, it's all pretty much benevolent, charitable acts, maybe some, things that we don't know that do happen. But then at the higher levels, there are those in the know that know the actual power struggle that goes on, and also how they really influence so much of our society, and get a real glimpse at the bigger picture. So what do you guys think is going on? Do you think they're all benevolent? Do you think they're all malevolent? Do you think that they're a mixture of both? I look forward to your comments as always. I want to invite everybody to join us on Patreon again. For as little as $1 a month, you could keep the channel going and support it, and also see some videos that won't be up on YouTube. And make sure that you're subscribed and have the bell clicked on both channels, EEARTS and Evolutionary Energy Arts, in order to get all the videos and notifications. So my friends, as always, stay safe, stay alert, keep learning, keep looking, and share your comments. God bless and namaste.